And Chris is back on the line. How are you?
Yeah, no, very well, and good to hear David's work. Much needed, and it will help.
Yeah, and he was saying that, the examples I gave him, he said, yeah, that's typical of what people do. They just repay the insurance bill when it comes, and you should never do that. You should actually try all the time to try and get a better deal. Now, the reason we're bringing this up is that you're in the middle of this whole campaign to have people band together, get a better deal, think about switching, and you've done some surveys of people who have switched or are thinking of switching, and you've come up with some really interesting information.
Yes, so this is the the campaign we've been talking about, and there's over 42,000 who've joined so far, and a good number of them have taken the time to fill out the survey, which we put up there to find out more. And really, I mean, I think that would, to me, was the most interesting. 1 in 5 have never changed home or car insurance providers. 60% of home and 50% of car premium holders just auto-renew without checking. And look, we're all human. I do that sometimes. I try to practice what I preach. However, when I have changed, and I think I mentioned a case a few weeks ago with you, to get an L-plate driver on, they were actually, while I was getting more from my insurance, I actually ended up paying about $400 less for the comprehensive car. So you don't know how they're going to price it. It's all sorts of different algorithms and risk factors. You can only ask and find out, and often you'll be surprised. And as long as it's a pleasant surprise, that's worth doing.
I think one of the numbers that stood out to me was 43% of people who switched insurer. Now, I'm not sure whether that's a home or car. It could be both. Saved up to $100 plus.
Yes. Well, yeah, that doesn't actually surprise me, and I'm sure that quite a bit of it is the plus. But really, it's got to be a worthwhile saving to make you change. And look, some people that might be $20, $30, $50. Some might need $100 or $2. But given the size, I mean, we found out that the average amount people in the campaign have paid for home and contents and also comprehensive car is about $2,000. So $700 for the car and about $1,300 for the home. So they're pretty significant amounts, and you can save $100 or $200 on that. That's a good percentage.
One of the things that I reckon will happen because of your activism in this area is it's going to force, is it not, insurance companies to revisit this idea of brand loyalty, of customer loyalty, of you get from your insurance company no-claim bonuses, but I think they sometimes get lost, and some of them are a bit of a con. You're not really getting all that much of a bonus. If they start to see customers drifting away because they've compared, will not that sort of bonus of being a loyal customer perhaps be rejigged by some of these companies?
I would hope so. I mean, the no-claims bonus is pretty portable between insurers, so that doesn't
is it?
stop. Yeah, you can just say you've got a no-claim bonus, and whenever I've switched it, they take my word for it and apply the discount. So that's a pretty good thing. But look, it's often in terms, if you bundle different insurance like home and car with the same person, you can get a discount. So there are ways, but there's no doubt that loyalty is not adequately rewarded. And it's the people who acquire new business are given more sugar, if you like, to put on the table to draw in new customers, as opposed to those who are employed to retain existing business, who don't get nearly as much sugar. So really, that's the way we've got to make sure that they find real incentives for people to stay, because part of this campaign is to find incentives and processes for people to move. And really, I'm sure most people, if you're satisfied with the insurer otherwise in terms of how they've handled any claims you've made in the past, you might not want to change. But if there is a significant premium difference, then, you should follow the saving.
One of the examples was a comprehensive car insurance policy that would not allow a 16-year-old to start to learn to drive. I've had 2 go through the Learn to Drive program in the last couple of years. My policy covers it. I'm not sure. I presume I'm paying more because of that, am I?
Well, not necessarily. I mean, that was my case. I had my 16-year-old who was very keen to drive and get his own car and everything. With my existing policy, which again was with one of the allegedly cheaper ones, they said the only way to cover him was to insure for all under 25 drivers, and that was some hundreds of dollars more. Whereas there are some insurers who will insure L-plate drivers for free. And in fact, it was switching to that ended up saving me $400 in terms of the.
So you say $400 on your policy, and you got to let your son
that
drive.
Was a complete surprise, and my wife did the same with her car as well. She thought she was on a pretty good deal, but we got a better deal with cover for our 16-year-old. Now, we may live to regret that, to see him whizzing around in our car as an L-plate driver. But anyway, the point is, it was much better insurance for less money, and that was the sort of that. That was the prong, if you like. That was the thing that led us to sort it out. But I'd suggest for many people, you may well be surprised. It is very arduous to check lots and lots. But if you get an idea of one which you think might suit your needs and conditions better, and they all price different cars and suburbs in different ways, you should follow that out. It's not too hard. It's hard to compare 20 different insurers. It's not too hard to compare two.
The campaign has been based on older Australians over 50 are insurance companies' best customers. That's what we talk about, because they're less likely to make claims. When you're getting these policies that need renewal, should you be ringing the company you're with and saying, I've been here 20 years, I'm now in my 60s, I haven't claimed for 20 years, I haven't claimed for 15 years, I want a better deal, and see what happens?
I think definitely. There's no doubt, as long as you get to speak to the right person on the phone, they often have delegation to make discounts, to make offers that are not publicly available otherwise. And certainly if it's, you can ask them to look it up. They'll have all the data in front of them, how long you've been there, what you've been insured. If you've told them that either you've been in this campaign and you've been made a better offer, can they match it? We know when we've done this in terms of electricity and other products, often the deal is matched, if not improved. So it's actually, you don't necessarily have to switch to benefit from it.
Great pleasure to catch up as usual. What's the 50Up Club website?
Yeah, 50upclub.com.au, and that's 50 FIFTY. We're not so modern and snazzy, we just have lots of blooming numerals everywhere instead of letters.
No, of course not. Thank you, Christopher Zinn. Talk to you next week.
Thanks. Bye.